Welcome in the latest episode of What I Bet, the What I Bet podcast on the Straight Out of Vegas AM podcast feed. You can find us wherever you get your podcast, Straight Out of Vegas Alpha Mary. You can find us on Twitter, twitter.com, x.com/pregame now. You can find me across all social media platforms at the real_G Warner. Tonight's episode, we're going through episode 79 of What I Bet. Thank you to all of you who've been with us since this show started just a few months ago. It's the August 6th Major League Baseball episode. We'll get a promo code out to you in the middle of the show, right before our What I Bet Best Bet before we sign off. It's our first look at the Major League Baseball lines and make my own numbers, and then I try to give a coherent opinion about what's going to happen on line movement and also what's going to happen on the game. We'll start because we got a lot of early games on this Thursday afternoon card, 6th of August 2026. We start with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and Janson starting on the road for the Halos at the Baltimore Orioles and Brandon Young. Brandon Young, a minus 167 favorite, 151 coming back on the A's. Totals 9.5, minus 117 to over. So some expectations for runs. I don't really know how because it's pretty low scoring first two games of this series. Game first pitch is thrown at 12:35 Eastern time, so it's going to be an early start, especially for those West Coast bodies and body clocks from the Angels. The Orioles, the long story for Brandon Young is that he's not been a very good starter at home over his career. He's kind of figured that out this season, has been pretty good on the road, even though he's getting sent down to the minors based on his home starts. Well, he's turned that around a fair amount. Minus 167 feels very large based on the favorite prices on the Orioles on both Wednesday and Tuesday, the first couple games of this series. To me, I feel like the total is way too high. It looks like it's going to get to 10. It's probably an under for me, but not sure it's going to make the card. Next, go to the Athletics of a formerly town named Oakland and now playing in Sacramento. Well, they're in three time zones east in Cincinnati to take on Andrew Abbott and Cincinnati Reds. The Reds are a minus 158 favorite, plus 143 coming back on the A's. Total 9.5 again in this one, minus 113 to under those. So there's some expectation that there's going to be some runs this game. Of course, Cincinnati is a great over ballpark, great American small park. They call that for a reason. Weather's usually very hot in Cincinnati, which makes the ball fly a lot further, especially with humidity in the air. Barnett starting for the Athletics. I don't have a huge book on. Andrew Abbott's fly ball pitcher, which can be very dangerous in Cincinnati. He's found a way to get through that throughout his career so far, but if you catch him on a bad day, I think over 9.5 by biggest interest. This is a 12:40 Eastern time start, and I gotta say, daytime games are hard to play overs on. Next, we'll go to New York Mets and Nolan McLean starting on the road to Cleveland Guardians and Foster Griffin making his debut for the Cleveland Guardians, other Ohio team. Cleveland minus 103, home underdog, minus 107 to the Mets, who closed the favorite on Wednesday night as well. Total 7.5. This one juiced minus 115 to over. Under for the first five is 4. If that isn't a clue on what I like in this game, you certainly can get that now. I'm a believer in the Cleveland Guardians bullpen. I'm a believer that their offense is ranked like in the 30s. There are 30 teams in Major League Baseball. So their offense has been terrible. Their defense has been a little bit questionable later. We saw Gabriel Arias get designated for assignment, DFA'd after a 3-run error, cost them the game on Tuesday night. Though you could argue that they're trying to call up a prospect and he had 11 RBIs the entire season, despite missing a fair amount with injury. With that said, poor Gabi Arias. I don't think it was deserved, but they had to move on, and I guess he used the easiest cut. Now for the New York Mets, they're not playing for anything. They traded pretty much everything they had. Juan Soto's on the IL, but they've been playing fairly well. The markets like them a lot. Nolan McLean is probably their most trustworthy starter besides Christian Scott, who went on Wednesday. So that's a pretty good setup. The Mets bullpen's pretty depleted, though. So I like Cleveland minus 103 at home. Also like under 7.5, under 4. This is a 12:10 Central Time, 1:10 Eastern Time first pitch on Thursday, August 6th. We'll next move to the Pittsburgh Pirates and Braxton Ashcraft on the road at the Milwaukee Brewers and Dustin May. Ashcraft a plus 122 underdog, total 7.5. This one minus 105, minus 115 to over. Getaway day here, 2:10 Eastern Time start. First five number is 4, minus 105 to under, minus 115 to over. Ashcraft has been kind of scuffling a little bit lately. Had a great start to his season. Maybe he's tiring. He certainly hasn't had a lot of innings. Wasn't even a starter until this season full time. Milwaukee Brewers, meanwhile, have acquired Dustin May at the trade deadline from St. Louis. He's been really good this year, and I still believe in what he can do. I'm looking for a cheap price on Milwaukee because it doesn't seem like the market has believed in Dustin May just yet. I think Braxton Ashcraft's kind of got to prove it to me. I'll lean to under, but I think stronger to the Milwaukee Brewers at home in this matchup. Next, go to the Toronto Blue Jays and Dylan Cease on the road at the Chicago Cubs and David Peterson. The Blue Jays favored on the road to Cease, who's been awesome this season. David Peterson, a plus 122 underdog. No total yet, as we're waiting for wind direction as an early start at Wrigley. Dylan Cease has been awesome. The Jays trade off a lot of talent, but it was really bullpen arms and starting pitchers. So they're not as damaged as you might think. But I will say David Peterson's been very good since he moved to Chicago after a little bit of a slow start to him. At least he's been good lately. And I like home underdogs, especially for how well the Cubs have been playing, just doing very well against the Dodgers at home this week. Next, go to the Detroit Tigers, the last of our early games. You could call it that. 4:10 Eastern Time, first pitch. Detroit in Seattle. We got Framber Valdez signed that big deal, so he wasn't moving at the trade deadline like all the other starting pitchers. Bryce Miller, who's been up and down this season, but I think better than he's been worse. Total is 7.5, just a little bit more, minus 115 to over. First five is a 4.5, minus 119 right now. And I'm a little bit nervous playing unders with Framber Valdez at this point because I just don't know that I trust him to. I trust him as an underdog and to win games, but ultimately he's not done a great job preventing runs. Bryce Miller should be able to keep Detroit off the scoreboard, though most of their trades, like Toronto, was about starting pitching going. So Detroit, as the said on the broadcast on Tuesday night, they need to win via slug, and that's going to be a tough thing to do against Bryce Miller, tough to do in Seattle, and tough to do against Seattle bullpen, who's been leaking oil a bit lately, but that's the park where they pitch the best. So I'll lean under here, under 7.5, and honestly, the home favorite feels a little cheap to me, though the Tigers certainly been playing well despite selling off assets. To the night slate, we'll go to the Washington Nationals visiting the Philadelphia Phillies. We've got Miles Mikolas on the road at Christopher Sanchez. Mikolas, a 286 underdog. 100 wins you 286, plus 1.5. The run line is plus 130 even. So great odds there. If you think about Nationals, you probably want to play first five. But I think generally total is better for this one. Over 8.5 is minus 120. That's where I'd lean, even though Christopher Sanchez is going to make it very hard, though the Phillies could score 9 themselves in 8 at bats. Next, we'll go to the Chicago White Sox and Luis Castillo makes his debut on the south side of Chicago. Well, technically against the other Sox in Boston. They're starting Ranger Suarez, who's been pretty solid and getting a lot of respect from the marketplace ever since coming back from injury, though that's certainly something you could say for the Red Sox. Also, plus 168 are the White Sox, minus 186 is Ranger Suarez, totals 9, juice minus 106 to under, minus 114 to over. I think we could see some runs there, but I don't really trust the White Sox at this point in the season. Next, we go to Atlanta, Miami Marlins, the Jackson Junk on the road to the Atlanta Braves, and Martin Perez, who got all the attaboys you could ever get, all the kudos for basically getting called on right before a game to start when they were pushing back one of the starting pitchers. I think one might have been Sale this past weekend. Anyway, Martin Perez was great, kept his opponents off balance. Now he gets the Miami Marlins, who are a much easier landing spot for him. And honestly, I think he's a great pitcher and has done far better for me over his career than almost anybody out there, maybe besides Framber Valdez, already mentioned on this podcast. But the Marlins are plus 132 underdogs behind Jackson Junk, totals 9. This one minus 110 each way. Don't really have a great feel. Like Jackson Junk is an underdog, but I just feel like I need more for him, even though fading Martin Perez seems to be something that is worth doing as a big favorite. 2 games left to go before we get to our What I Bet Best Bet promo code and the best bet coming into the show. We'll next move to Kansas City for the Minnesota Twins and Bailey Ober on the road to the Kansas City Royals and Michael Wacha. Wacha minus 122 favorite. Surprised to see the Royals favorite again, but totals 8.5. She's minus 125 to over. First 5. Under is 5 right now, minus 103. A couple nights ago, amazing how in the bottom of the 5th and bottom of the 8th innings, the Royals erupted to kill first half under and also full game under. I don't expect that to happen again. Michael Wacha has been awesome as a pitcher, though, so I was hoping to get him at a much cheaper price. We don't have that. With that said, Billy Ober is built for parks like Kansas City, where it's hard to hit home runs. Night game is a little bit better for I guess the heat index not being so tough on the pitchers. Ball might carry a little bit better in the night. You don't have the sight lines, and Michael Walker's changeup is probably not going to be as effective in the dark sky. But at the same time, he's been awesome this season. Deserved, I think, his all-star nod. Whether he deserved over others is a question, but ultimately lean under in this matchup, under 8.5, which looks like we'll get a 9. It's a key number, so I'd wait for that. And under five, first five is a great number to push on. Big, big number for first five total. Last game on the list, San Diego Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks in a big battle for trying to find a way into one of the last playoff spots, wildcard spots in the National League. Walker Buehler starts for the Padres on the road at Cole Drake, I believe it is, for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Drake, a rookie, so don't hate me for getting that wrong. Arizona minus 107 favorite at home. Total is 9 minus 110 both ways. I'm expecting San Diego to get some money here. They have been all series. They have been because they were big time buyers at the trade deadline just because they don't believe in selling is the only way I could say it. Their bullpen's great. Their offense is weak. So give me Arizona minus 107. That does it for all of the games, at least the line ones, currently at 12:26 Central Time, 1:26 Eastern Time on Thursday, August 6th. It is the What I Bet podcast, and we're going to find a way to save you some money at pregame.com. Use the promo code HIT50. Good to save $50 on Griffin Warner's Major League Baseball second half all access through the World Series. We're up about 32 units entering today on the season. Of course, if you want to get on that train, ride it with us, choo choo, the rest of the way. Come through the World Series. You pay, instead of the $349 listing on the site, use the promo code HIT50, Hotel India Tango 50. Use your coupon code and only pay $2.99 for the rest of my plays throughout this season, all the way to the World Series. You have until the 10th of August, but those days are running away. So hurry, get in, and join us the rest of the season. Now, our What I Bet Best Bet portion of the show, fortunately, we've been on a little bit of a slide lately, trying to turn that around with a winner, hopefully on this Thursday, August 6th episode. For our best bet, let's go not too far down the line, honestly, but we're going to go to Seattle, play the Seattle Mariners and Bryce Miller minus 125 home favorite. That'll do it for this episode. We'll see you the next time of What I Bet. 3, 2, 1. Hey, this is real_G Warner. This is the What I Bet Best Bet portion of the What I Bet podcast, the Straight Out of Vegas AM podcast feed, wherever your podcasts. Search Straight Out of Vegas AM Alpha Mary. Find us on Twitter, twitter.com, x.com/pregame now. You can find me across all social media platforms at the real_G Warner. Tonight's episode, August 6th, Major League Baseball card. We did give out our promo code. Use the promo code HIT50. Save you some money at pregame.com on my rest of season all access package. But for this episode, for our best bet, we're going to the Seattle Mariners minus 125. They're at home. That's where they play their best baseball. The lineup is built for it. They're starting pitching. Their bullpen is all built for Seattle. The strategy is don't walk anybody, challenge with fastballs high in the zone, and try to really force Detroit to hit the ball over the wall. It's hard to do. It's certainly capable. The Detroit Tigers are capable of doing it, but there's a reason they're out of the playoff picture right now, or at least we're selling and sellers at the deadline. Like Bryce Miller, like what he's done, don't think we can trust Framber Valdez at this point in his career. His range of outcomes is just too wide. So take Seattle Mariners minus 125. We'll see you in the next episode of What I Bet.